So Zelensky just spent the last few days at the United Nations. I did the video on his General Assembly speech. I did the video on his Security Council speech. He's now gone to Washington, and in Washington, he's going to be meeting with significant congressmen and Joe Biden. So here's the Kyiv Post. Zelensky will hold important negotiations in Washington today. According to the president, one of the key issues will be air defense for Ukraine. I'm thinking that on the other side of this, you'll see the ATACMS announced. I'm not 100% sure, but it's been cleared. It's just waiting for Joe Biden's final approval to say yes. Now, in these meetings, he arrives at the U.S. Capitol for talks with lawmakers, and you see him here with, this is Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, the party that's not in power is the minority leader if you're not American and don't understand the system. Um, President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in the U.S. Capitol to hold private talks with Republican and Democratic leaders of the House and Senate, the Associated Press reported on September 21. After that, Zelensky is scheduled to meet with President Joe Biden, according to the AP, and some military leaders. So Speaker Kevin McCarthy has refused to host a forum for Zelensky to address members of the House in a decision that underscores deep disagreements in the Republican ranks. The New York Times reported, yeah, there's disagreements. There's a wing of the Republican Party that is not in favor of this, and there's a wing that fervently supports Zelensky. In the meantime, McCarthy is expected to meet Ukrainian president privately, according to the media outlets. That's interesting. So let's look for that. Well, there we are. This is the private meeting. This is Speaker McCarthy. So he's the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the larger of the two bodies. It's like the House of Commons in Britain. And Zelensky and Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader. So the ranking Republican, the ranking Democrat, were both there. So it's not like they were shunning him or anything. And I don't want you to get the wrong impression with that. Not hosting the forum might have been a good way of preventing some bad press from coming forward, or dealing with something that could have been a little bit more tumultuous than what they wanted. We don't really know. What we saw was this on RT. This is Kevin McCarthy, just a little soundbite. And RT, I think, I think they're hearing it differently than I'm hearing it. Let me play the soundbite and we'll talk.
Is Zelensky elected to Congress? Is he our president? I don't think I have to commit anything. I have questions for him. Where's the accountability on the money we already spent? What is the plan for victory? I think that's what the American public wants to know. I want accountability for whatever the hardworking taxpayers spend their money on, and I want a plan for victory.
Okay, so now this was clipped, so we don't know what the rest of the thing was, but what RT wants to project is that Speaker McCarthy is saying he wants accountability for the money, like there's corruption or there's whatever. Republicans are always talking about accountability, fiscal accountability. They're like, in fact, in the United States, they'll talk about it like the Republicans, the Democrats are the mommy party and the Republicans are the daddy party. And if you want, more stuff, you look to the Democrats, and if you want more, structure and rule of law and that kind of thing, generally you look to the Republicans. It's not completely one way or the other, but they really just kind of gravitate two different directions. So talking about accountability is no big thing. This is what Republicans tend to do. But he also talked about this. We want accountability. And then he said,
what is the plan for victory?
What's the plan for victory? Right? So he actually wants to see how they're going to achieve victory. And that's very different than what RT is really wanting to project. There was another interesting thing here where McCarthy was talking about frustration within members of his own party. And he said this.
Frustrating in the sense that I don't understand why anybody votes against bringing the idea and having the debate. And then you've got all the amendments if you don't like the bill. This is a whole new concept of individuals that just want to burn the whole place down.
Yeah, so there are Republicans who are they don't even want to, have the debate about the bill. They just want to not have it. They don't want to have the debate because they know this wing of the Republican Party that is opposed to supporting Ukraine knows that they're outnumbered. Okay, so they just want to end it, and you don't get to do that. Okay, last little thought here. Zelensky will be meeting with the Republican leader in the Senate and the Democrat leader in the Senate as well. So there's a lot of bipartisan support for Zelensky. I can't possibly frame this as if there's equal bipartisan support. Like there's as much Republicans as Democrats. There's not. I wish there was. It just isn't that way. But there's plenty to be able to get this through between the enough Republican support and pretty full-throated support on the Democrat side and Biden. So they'll get through whatever they need to get through. I'm not at all concerned about that, and you shouldn't be concerned about that either. Okay, that's where we are with Republican and Democrats in the United States meeting with Zelensky while he's in his tour in Washington. What'll be interesting to see, and I'm looking for this, and I'm seeing a lot of activity. A lot of activity in Crimea and Russian planes being attacked and things like that. All of that is kind of showing, yes, we can achieve some victory, so we can make these claims, and that's what's going on here. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.